Hello and welcome. This is Jacqueline Kane. And for those of you who don't know me, I'm Jacqueline Kane, energy healer and low back pain specialist. And I'm happy today I have Elizabeth Duford on, and we're going to be talking about crystals, gut health, and how to use crystals in healing. So welcome, Elizabeth.
Thank you so much, Jacqueline. Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. I'm excited for this conversation because you're going to be teaching me things that I don't even know about crystals and healing. So, can you first share who you are and what you do?
Sure. So I'm Elizabeth Duford, and I am a Reiki and crystal energy healer. My background is actually in social work. So I worked in the field of a different kind of healing for almost 20 years, focused mostly on working with low income women and children. And one of the things I really noticed when I was working with folks who are chronically stressed and overwhelmed is that they had a lot of physical health problems as well. And it frustrated me that I couldn't help them with that piece because I think it's so linked to trauma. That was part of what stimulated my interest in Reiki healing. I just found also with my own health issues with gut pain that had been chronic for 10 years, that using Reiki on myself and combining them with crystals really helped me heal, which was a huge surprise. I had not been, I mean, I was interested in energy medicine, but I wasn't sure it would work. And when it did, I was like, yeah, I'm onto something here. But I live in North Carolina, and I work with people both virtually and in person to do Reiki sessions. And I offer workshops as well, just for people who want to learn about crystals. And so that's who I am and what I do.
I love the fact that you bring up energy, and many of us, I think all energy practitioners have gone through that same journey. We think that we've been raised and conditioned to think we need a doctor, to think we need a pill to heal the body. We need somebody outside of ourselves to heal ourselves.
Right.
But the minute we start embracing energy modalities and see the results, there's no going back, right? It's clearly
Right.
the missing piece to healing.
Right, absolutely. And, I think there's definitely a place for Western medicine, and there are certain things where you really, need to take medication. But I think there are so many things, particularly chronic pain, that can really be eased by energy healing. And, I will love to see the day when Western and energy medicine healers work together more effectively.
Mhm. Yeah, and that's our intention with the book that we have, the energy medicine solution, right? Is that we all come together because it's not one or the other.
No,
When we combine it, it's a beautiful experience for the patient and for everybody in the world.
absolutely.
Can you share a little bit about your journey of healing? What were some of your issues that you were facing?
So I had chronic gut pain for almost 10 years, kind of on and off, but mostly on. And it started when I was in my 30s. I'm in my 40s now. And basically, I could not get relief from Western medicine. I went to multiple doctors. I tried multiple medications. I had, invasive procedures like endoscopies, colonoscopies, all that fun stuff. And I would sometimes get relief from medication for a while, and then it would wear off, or I would have some nasty side effects. And I just felt like there must be something else going on, but I didn't know what it was. I tried changing my diet, I added supplements. And again, these things helped some, but I was still in pain more than I was out of it. And so I really, I got pretty desperate about it. I was getting depressed. I was isolating. Like I didn't want to go out for food with people. I was irritated with my family. I was tired. I mean, I just felt like garbage. So I knew there was something else that I had to find to help myself. And so I eventually ended up at a specialty clinic at my local hospital that specialized in GI disorders. And one of the things that they offered was actually a psychologist on staff who was interested in what my background was, especially in terms of trauma. And that was when I learned that there's this huge link, especially for women, between childhood trauma, particularly sexual abuse, and chronic GI pain. And this was something that I had not known before. And the psychologist actually said, something that can really help people with this is mindfulness. And so she referred me to a mindfulness meditation program, which again was like there was a shift. I learned how to let my pain pass by instead of getting attached to it. I did meditations daily about, almost befriending my pain, trying not to resist it so much. And again, this was helpful, but the pain was still there. And so once I opened the door with mindfulness meditation, I was ready to just try other modalities and tried acupuncture, did some cranial sacral therapy. Again, good stuff and helped in the moment.
Yeah.
But I still hadn't found the energy medicine solution for myself.
Yeah.
And that was when a friend of mine was a Reiki master, and she said, "Have you tried Reiki?" I didn't really know what Reiki was at the time. And she was like, "Let's do a couple sessions and see if we can shift some of what's going on." And so I had 3 sessions with her, and it felt like a miracle because my gut really started to feel better. And I was apprehensive. I thought, like, this isn't going to last. Like, this is in my head. But it did last. And so I ended up enrolling to become a Reiki practitioner myself because it was so powerful. And I really wanted to help other people, get well.
Yeah.
So that's how I first started my journey, and, did a lot of Reiki on myself, which you can do and which can make an impact. And then I started integrating crystals. So that was kind of the next layer of healing for me.
So what was your experience with crystals? Because I have always loved crystals. If you come to my home, there's crystals in the house, there's things outside. It's something I've been attracted to.
Mm-hmm.
But even as an energy practitioner myself, I don't always feel the connection or the frequency of the crystals. So can you
Right.
explain more of that?
Sure. And like you, I've always loved crystals. I've had them in my home. I knew a little bit about using them for like feng shui purposes. And I was like that kid who always collected rocks, and I really felt like, part of my attraction to crystals was that they came out of the earth. And I feel like the earth has such powerful healing capabilities. So I was open to crystals for that reason. But again, I didn't understand how they worked either. And so I started studying crystal healing because I was convinced that they could do something, but I wasn't sure what. And so I learned that the difference between a regular rock and a crystal is that crystals have a specific lattice pattern within their structure. And that lattice pattern is what makes them a crystal. And it's also what makes crystals so powerful in terms of energy healing, because crystals vibrate at a very high vibration. Their energy frequency is very high. And that can interact with our own energy field because everything has its own energy field. So, if you have energy that's stuck in your body that's making you feel bad, negative energy, for example, traumatic energy, a crystal can help release that and can help rebalance your body so that you stop feeling so bad. And crystals, a basic way to understand how crystals work is, you have the chakras in your body, the 7 chakras, and there's a color associated with each chakra. And so crystals of that color are going to help balance that particular chakra. So when I'm teaching my workshops, that's one of the first things that I talk about with folks is, just a basic way to identify which crystals might help you with which area of your body.
Mm-hmm. And you bring up a really good point. If you listen to Abraham Hicks and all of those kinds of people, they talk about frequency and energy.
Yes.
And so life really is all about frequency and where's our frequency at.
Yeah.
And it's not about feeling bad of having low energy because we all go through things. And sometimes, if you're a mom and you have children, there are days when it's going to be really tough. But to
Absolutely.
know that, right? We've all been there, right?
Yes,
Um,
yes.
but to know that there's things we can do at home um, to keep our energy high. What are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, I think that's so important. And as a mom of 4 children, I completely relate to the like, oh my gosh, this is so hard and I'm so
Yeah.
overwhelmed and I'm so tired, especially when my kids were little. They're all teenagers now, but when they were little, I just felt like, oh, never getting enough sleep, all that.
Yeah.
It can really get to you after a while.
Hmm.
And, I think that one of the things that I learned about in mindfulness was about mindset. Um, and, what is your mindset and what are you projecting into the world? And if your mindset is a positive one, it's more likely you'll attract positive people and positive experiences. And if your mindset is more negative, it's the opposite. And I think it can really help elevate positivity when you have crystals that are vibrating at such a high frequency. I really think, they can interact with our mind. Um, and, when we have a higher vibration, we can overcome things that are difficult more easily. We can, overcome aches and pains, other health issues, emotional stress, and I think that a lot of the world right now vibrates at a really low frequency. There's a lot of negativity out there. I can get sucked into it myself. Um, but I think if everyone found a way to connect to, that higher energy field, excuse me, I think the world would be, a much happier place.
Hmm. Yeah, and as you're talking, there's like a scale, right? So in the low energy, it's the overwhelm, it's the stress, it's the limited beliefs,
Yeah.
because that's really what we attract at.
Yeah.
And it's that low frequency. So the more we do the healing work, we heal all these parts of us and up level our beliefs and up level our frequency by using things like crystals, by going to people like you who are going to help me figure out what's my mindset that got me here.
Yeah.
What's the emotion and the energy that my bowels are carrying and are having such a hard time struggling just to digest my food,
Right.
right? I mean, that's
Exactly.
that's the big connection between, are you stuffing your emotions,
Yes,
right? All that guilt, resentment, it sits in our lower chakras,
it
and
does.
it's
It does.
it's it's they're like a heavy rock.
They are, literally. And, when you think about the gut, I feel like one cool thing that's happened in the last several years is that people really are understanding more the connection between our brain and our gut. And
Mhm,
the other thing the GI psychologist told me was that our gut is really our second brain because it has almost as
mhm.
many nerve endings as our brain. And so, those expressions like gut feeling, butterflies in my stomach, um, feeling like you're going to throw up when you're nervous. That is all the nerves in your gut telling
Yeah,
you things. A
yeah,
gut feeling is your intuition, and you should trust it. And one of the things that happens when we experience trauma, particularly trauma at the hands of people who are supposed to take care of us, our intuition, our gut feelings are dismissed. When we say this hurts me and somebody says, no, it doesn't. Um, what is that but a dismissal of our gut instincts? And so when you hear those messages over and over, especially from parents, um, it really clogs up the gears because you
mhm,
forget how to trust yourself. And so, for me, one of the arcs of my healing was reconnecting with my intuition and learning how to trust myself again, and letting go of the invalidation that I had experienced and letting go of all the negative energy and fear that was stored in my gut. So,
yeah. Yeah, you bring up a really good point. I work also with a lot of people who have, when a child is taught to not trust their intuition, it impacts their power, it impacts everything they're able to create from that place going forward. And
yes,
it's really damaging.
it is.
I really wish I knew all of this when my kids were young. And the good news is that my son's girlfriend is pregnant. So I'm planning on doing it completely different with my grandchild, even
Oh my
though I
gosh.
promise I have to be very good with boundaries, right? I will
Yes,
do
of
my
course.
best, but we've learned so much when we
We
become moms, right?
Yes.
And this is how to make it easier, not just for us, but also to help our kids have an easier life,
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
We're clearing the path for them.
Right.
So imagine a whole world where there's children where we've cleared our mindset, we've shifted and up leveled all of this, right?
Yes. And, I wish I had known more of this when my kids were little.
Mhm.
And now they sort of make fun of me. They're like, oh, hippie mom with her crystals and her Reiki,
Whatever.
whatever. And, sometimes I'll offer when they're not feeling well to do Reiki or crystals healing for them. And, most of the time they're like, mom, but I still think, you know, it makes a difference that it's
Mhm.
happening in their home. And,
Yeah.
I feel like I'm so much of a better parent because I have cleared some of my own trauma. And certainly because I'm less irritable, because when your stomach hurts all the time, you're just mad and sad. So I'm
Yeah.
just able to be happier with them.
Yeah, our subconscious thoughts come through whether we realize it or not. So the more we clear that, the happier we are and the happier our family is.
Right.
So this has been an amazing conversation. If you're watching this and you have gut health, please reach out to Elizabeth. Um, so Elizabeth, how can people get a hold of you?
So they can email me, and it's Elizabeth at crystalpathtohealing.com. They can visit my website, which is also crystalpathtohealing.com. And they can just shoot me a text or call me as well. It's 919-412-8378. I'm on Eastern Standard Time. So there's lots of ways to reach me. You can also send me a message on Facebook. Any of that works.
Love it. Well, this has been fabulous. Thank you so much. And thank you for all who are watching. And please share with anybody who you know who is struggling with gut health. Have a great day.
Thanks, Jacqueline.